Carney apologizing, kissing the ring of Trump. Mr. Elbows up, put him down again. Remember when he was like, our relationship is over with the Americans, we're doing a new way of, like, he crafted an entire campaign on this. Now, I don't know what he's doing anymore. He apologized, so I guess okay, but Doug Ford should be the one apologizing. Actually, Doug Ford should be the one resigning because he probably cost thousands of Ontario jobs over that stupid campaign. But let's listen to Mark Carney saying he apologized.
Did you apologize to Donald Trump about Ontario's anti-tariff ad?
I did. I did apologize to the president. The president was offended by the act, or by the ad, rather. And it's not something I would have done, which is to put in place that advertisement, and so I apologize to him.
All right, Sheila, explain this to me. He apologizes, so, no more elbows up, knees down yet again. But what I find uncanny about that quote is the following line where he says, "It's not something I would have done," which is to put in place that advertisement. So I apologize. But wait a minute. I thought he and his chief of staff signed off on it. So what is he talking about? It's not something I would have done when you did it.
Everybody's throwing everybody else under the electric vehicle made with Canadian subsidies over there. Carney is throwing Ford under the bus, and Ford is saying, I wouldn't have apologized. I think we actually have that clip. We've got Trump saying Prime Minister Carney was very nice and apologized. So this is, why Trump wanted Carney, obviously. Let's watch this clip.
Prime Minister Carney, are you and Canada going to resume negotiations?
No, but I have a very good relationship. I like him a lot. But what they did was wrong. He was very nice. He apologized for what they did with the commercial. Because it was a false commercial. It was the exact opposite. Ronald Reagan loved tariffs. And they tried to make it look the other way. And he did apologize, and I appreciated it. We had a great dinner, with other countries, as you know. And I think we have a very good relationship personally. I think that what they did was wrong, but he apologized.
Okay, but the most important part is, thanks for the apology, we're not restarting negotiations.
Exactly. And
so
what are we seeing these last few weeks, Sheila? Whether it's furniture assembly plants or auto assembly plants, closures. It's all bad news. Where are these trade deals? This is the central thing Mark Carney ran on, right? He could deal with big bad orange man. He was going to put us back on the rails again. And yet, more than 6 months later, nada?
Yeah. Yep. And the Americans continue to be offended. Now, Trump accepts the apology, but that's the ad there. We've got this video from Secretary Scott Bessent on the apology. So that's the Treasury Secretary in the United States. He says it's unacceptable that the Premier of Ontario spent 75 million Ontario tax dollars sending propaganda across the U.S. border. So Trump may have taken the apology, but it's actually getting Carney nowhere. It just shows who's the powerful one in that relationship. And will it move the needle? Absolutely not. If you listen to Scott Bessent on CNN.
And Jake, this is unacceptable that I read that the Premier of Ontario spent $75 million sending propaganda across the U.S. border via
Ronald Reagan's own words.
Via our airwaves. Via our own airwaves. It's the equivalent of election interference. Nobody likes foreign election interference. Nobody likes foreign governments trying to sway public opinion. And Jake, this is...
And Sheila, explain this to me. Premier Ford, to this day, is calling this ad campaign the most successful ad campaign in the history of North America, something like that. If that's so, why are you pulling the campaign? it would be like Coca-Cola pulling Coke or McDonald's pulling the Big Mac. I mean, if it's so successful, why have you buried it and it's never going to resurface?
Successful by what metric? The most jobs lost ever?
Yes, correct.
You know? Like, how is it successful? You put thousands of Ontario jobs at risk with this. He had to have known that it would offend the Americans. Like, there's no possible way that you would publish that ad with Ronald Reagan, of all people, directing it at the Americans during a sporting event that is watched in so many American households. You didn't think Trump would take that poorly? I don't know how Doug Ford could have thought that this would turn out any other way.
And by the way, Sheila, contrary to what Ronald Reagan said in those quips, I mean, maybe he was speaking in the abstract, but in the reality, and I'm old enough to remember the 1980s, Reagan was all about tariffs.
Sure.
In Japan, it was on cars and semiconductors and computers. In Europe, it was steel. In Canada, it was softwood, lumber. So the reality does not match the rhetoric.
Yeah. We just have a clip here that Efron found
Okay.
of Premier Ford reacting to Mark Carney apologizing for the Ronald Reagan ads. Will Doug Ford be contrite? What do you guys think? Let's watch together.
Prime Minister, I'll tell you what I would do. I'd never apologize to Donald Trump. Donald Trump's trying to destroy our province, destroy our country, steal manufacturing jobs and auto sector jobs, steel jobs, aluminum jobs. The list keeps going on. I'll never apologize to President Trump, and I'm going to continue fighting for the people of Ontario and the people of Canada.
Did the Prime Minister give you a heads up?
Stop fighting for me.
No, he didn't. But that's his prerogative, right? I don't speak for the Prime Minister. I speak as the Premier of Ontario, and I'll never apologize to Donald Trump ever. They put me on a stretching rack. I wouldn't apologize. No, it doesn't. That's something. The Prime Minister is doing the best he can for the country. He has the best interests of the country at heart, and he's trying to work with 13 different premiers across the board. We look forward to sitting down at an FMM conference, and we'll have a further discussion when all the premiers come together.
Sheila, what does the look on his face tell you? What does the body language tell you? To me, all I see is a defeated man.
It looks like a proof of life hostage video where he's like, stop trying to help, Doug Ford.
Yeah.
Stop trying to help. Who's benefiting from any of this? You know, what did your help actually do? Who did you help? Who is better off now than before your ad? Because that ad made everything infinitely worse. Mm-hmm. And instead of just saying, you know what, I thought it would help, it landed wrong. And for that, I'm sorry. Maybe not to Donald Trump, but to the people of Ontario, whose money I wasted and whose jobs I put at risk.
Yep.
I am sorry, but he has never said that.
And you know what? That would go a long way to getting the trade talks back on the rails. And as I've said before, Sheila, if I think Doug Ford does not understand Trump, and there's a great book to give him an education. It was written by Newt Gingrich. It's called Understanding Trump.
Right.
If the premier could take some time out of his schedule and read that, I think we're back on our way out of the wilderness. But I just see arrogance. I just see a defeated man. I just see a man too full of I don't know what to actually make an apology, to, take one for the team. And I'm not confident going forward for so many sectors in Ontario. Just today it was announced a place in Lindsay, I believe it employs 140 in the furniture making business. The head office is in Utah. It's closing the factory. Yep. Those jobs are going back to the U.S. And these are the places we don't hear about, Sheila. Employing 75 or 50 people. We hear about the big auto plants, but not these little. And they are closing down, and I am terrified for this province and this country.
And he's just an egotistical buffoon. He doesn't care what's good for the people of Ontario. What he's doing is not good for the people of Ontario.